Alright, we're going to talk about the difference in the magazines here in this video. Then once we get the guns apart, we'll look at the magazines. And the reason I'm covering that first before the receiver is because disassembling these guns is a little bit different. Now, we'll go with the 87 up here. These two screws hold the trigger guard mechanism in. And as you notice, the shield that's installed, this metal plate, has a permanently affixed nut here. On this one, I believe you can see where it's been repaired, removed, and the hole has been plugged. Okay, and the sheet metal is gone. Now, with this on there, with the single shot, you remove these two screws, okay, and then the action will come out. And then this, once the plate's up, you can slide the trigger mechanism out from underneath the plate. You do not have to remove this thing, okay, to disassemble the gun. As you see with this gun, it's changed. On the original guns, there were only these two screws on the 70 and 87 models. But now, because we have this magazine installed, we have a third screw. So you would have to remove these two, pull out the trigger mechanism, and then take this last one out to get the magazine. Much like on a Carcano, it drops down. Okay, where this magazine goes up through, it like drops into the stock and is held into the stock that way. This is not the same here. And also, you notice the shape of this wide little protrusions. Well, when this was modified, if you look at the stock, you can see on both sides where that's been filled in, okay, after this was taken out, okay, and redone. They just filled in the cutout. So now we're going to go, and I'm going to disassemble this, and it's the same thing. I'm not going to show you. I'm going to get the cleaning rod, the barrel bands off, and then we're going to go right to getting the trigger guard and the magazine out and getting the gun disassembled. Okay, disassembly is a little straightforward. I said I was going to skip this, but I do get emails from people asking questions. If you have a cleaning rod in the front of the gun, yes, it is threaded. Okay, this one's kind of bent. Loosen the screws on the barrel bands so you can get them off, because they may be real tight and be holding the cleaning rod in. But the cleaning rod is threaded. If it's the right one, you may have the wrong cleaning rod shoved down in there, and it may be problematic. And if the screws on your barrel bands are beat up and that could be a problem too in disassembling the gun. Okay, so barrel bands, cleaning rod off. Now we go down here. And like I said, probably the best thing to do would be to take the trigger guard off first. Yeah, I'm going to get me another blade. Okay. This one's a little on the tight side. And when you take this off, I believe this one, oh no, it's not a wood screw. This goes into the back of the receiver. This one here. Goes in there. Then this, no, I've got to come all off together. Then you get the front one, third one. Somehow it's latched together, I forgot. Yeah, get your other screw out, short one. Okay, then, all right, so what they got going on here, we'll zoom in. Yeah. Is this part here holds down this magazine. So this thing kind of just slides out. Slides in, slides out. So you take this out first, And you can see where that screw travels through there. And it's similar, it's a modified version of a Carcano magazine. Then, I believe the trigger mechanism should kind of come out of here. Yep, there. And as you see, this has not changed in the whole rifle series from start to finish. The same thing. So probably if you're missing a trigger guard or an assembly or something, they'll all work the same. Alright, now we'll lift this up out of the stock. Okay, all it was is grime and grease in there. I just had to kind of pull it out. It was stuck in there. Kind of nasty. Oh, this one's got a bazillion little stamps and that on there. And I think our receiver's been modified a tad. I have to clean this off. I should go clean this. But, yeah, there's our magazine. I'll go get a Carcano magazine and we'll kind of compare. Well, you don't really have to. It's way different. Like I said, there's 3 variations to this. There's one with a smooth side without this little dimpling in there. And then there's one where this, the way they fold it looks different. I do not have that one with the dimple folded different, but I do have a solid one I can show you. And pretty simple, much like Carcano, the follower, the hook for your clip, the button to release it. So it works very similar to a Carcano magazine. Then your empty clip drops out. But why we got it apart, I guess I was going to try to cover each point, but we'll look at it. Here's the stock modification. As you can see, it was filled in here. I'll try to get one off the other one. We'll take a look at them. It was filled in with something, and a lot of this too is cosmoline and crud in here is what kept this together. But they had to go and rework the stock. You can see where they filled it in. So that was done. And yeah, I'll get another one apart. I'll get one of the 87s apart and we'll look. This one here needs to be cleaned off. I may run down and do that. Oh, and again, just like when I told you to video the other one, there's a pin in here. It holds this receiver extension on. And this unhooks, just like the older guns. You have to make sure this pin is solid and this position, this is all in one piece. Because if the pin is loose or missing, you'll have play in the gun. This will sit in the stock funny and rotate around. You don't want that, okay? So make sure that the pin is set in here and holding the receiver extension solid onto the bottom of the receiver. Okay, I took apart another one that I had to that's cleaner, so you can see the inside, or fairly more cleaner, how they modified it, the stock. Okay, and this one also, what I was talking about is that pin right there in a receiver extension. This one was re-blued at one time, but we'll look at it there. And now to review, I'll show you the model prior to that. Now, like I said, with this one, there's the 2 screws. Oh, one thing before we go into this. Also, this other version had the second solid-sided type of magazine housing. So there are your 2 basic, these are going to be the 2 common variations. This one here, and then this here with the solid sides, but basically it's the same mechanism. Your spring, release button, and again that screw attaches underneath the trigger guard. So here are two common variations in the magazine, other than just how they made the sheet metal, I guess, is how it's done. This one, the stamping, forms the guide in the center, where this one, I believe, if you look down in there, the guide is machined into it. Okay, so this is kind of a simplified version. Alright, so there's those two. Now, on to how it, from the one that was modified. Again, we have our screws. Now remember, there's only 2 screws on this one. It's going to be a pain. That one comes out. And this, it does keep this plate under pressure. Let me try to get the other one broke loose. Okay, so we got this one agreeing with us now. This one here. All right. Now the trigger guard and mechanism, you lift up on this and kind of well, you might have to get the stock out. That'll come out that way. But here's the thing, is where the 6.5 type of magazine comes out, you have to put this around, lift this out. Ah, we got our pin missing. Lift out the receiver, and as you see the magazine, you push up on it, and the magazine, the Vetterli style or the Vitali style magazine, comes out like that. Okay, that's the difference. And we'll take a look at the stock, and then now this part will come out like that. Set them aside. Alright, then we'll take a look at how they modified the stock. Now, the reason I keep stressing about that pin is even though it was pretty solid in there, without that pin in there, this part comes right off. And that's on all of these, the 15s, these earlier ones. So that pin is missing. And also we'll take a look at the magazine cutoff and that differences on the receiver. Alright, so we'll talk about magazines and magazine modifications to the stock now. So you've seen the 2 mags, and you see that there is a bit of a difference between what the hell goes in there, both in length and everything else. So the older style cutout, as you see, is pretty big. Okay, and the plate there, and I don't believe where that screw is here you see anything. So side by side comparison, when the stock was modified, okay, you see where they had to kind of fill in a lot. Alright, and that's what they look like. And also on this, there's this added point in here for the forward screw on the magazine to screw into. The little cutout in that where that other thing is still there, but that hole was plugged where that went. And I think this one you can see the insert, the outline of the insert a lot better. They had an insert they just kind of jammed in there. But I believe the length of this, yeah, I'm not going to take the plate off, but the length of the cutout had to be extended through here. So that's why on a lot of these modified ones, the stock will break in this area because it's thin, and if this insert gets damaged or whatever, it can create a problem. So that's why you see a lot of these will break. All right. So that's our differences in the modification to the stock and with the magazine. So that should give you an idea how that all works. Now what I'm going to do is get these stocks and that out, and we'll take a look at how the receivers were modified.